Chapter 12. "We've all come to see you, all of us, and Praskovia Ilinichka is coming too, and Louisa Karlovna meant to come too," twittered Anna Nikolaevna, walking into the salon and looking about her greedily. She was a rather pretty little lady, dressed expensively but in gaudy colours, and very well aware that she was pretty. She fancied that the prince was hidden somewhere in a corner with Zina. "And Katerina Petrovna is coming, and Felisata Mihailovna meant to be here too," added Natalia Dmitrievna, the lady of colossal proportions, remarkably like a grenadier, whose appearance had so delighted the prince. She had on an extraordinarily small pink hat perched on the back of her head. For the last 3 weeks she had been the devoted friend of Anna Nikolaevna, whose good graces she had long been trying to win, and whom, to judge by appearances, she could have swallowed up at one gulp, bones and all. "I won't speak of the delight, I may call it, of seeing you both here, and in the evening too," Marya Alexandrovna chanted, recovering from her first stupefaction. "But tell me, please, what miracle has brought you to me tonight, when I quite despaired of such an honour?" "Oh, my goodness, Marya Alexandrovna, what a forgetful lady you are!" said Natalia Dmitrievna in honeyed accents, mincing and speaking in a bashful and squeaky voice, which was a very curious contrast to her appearance. "Mais ma charmante," twittered Anna Nikolaevna, "we must, you know, we really must complete our arrangements for these theatricals. Only today Pyotr Mihailovitch said to Kalist Stanislavitch that he was very much disappointed that it was not coming off well, and that we did nothing but fall out over it. So we met together this evening and thought, let us go to Marya Alexandrovna's and settle it all right away. Natalia Dmitrievna, let the others know. They are all coming. So we will talk it all over together, and all will go well. We won't let them say that we do nothing but quarrel, will we, mon ange?" she added playfully, kissing Marya Alexandrovna. "Oh, my goodness, Zinaida Afanasievna! Why, you grow prettier every day!" Anna Nikolaevna flew to shower kisses on Zina. "Indeed, she has nothing else to do but grow prettier," Natalia Dmitrievna added in sugary accents, rubbing her huge hands. "The devil take them! I did not think about those theatricals. They have been sharp, the magpies," Marya Alexandrovna murmured, beside herself with fury. "Especially, my angel, since that darling prince is staying with you. You know there used to be a theatre at Duhanovo in the time of the late owners. We have made inquiries already, and know that all the old scenery, the curtain, and even the costumes are put away somewhere. The prince called on me today, and I was so surprised at seeing him that I quite forgot to speak of it. Now we will introduce the subject of the theatre. You must help us, and the prince will order all the old trappings to be sent us. For who is there here you can trust to make anything like scenery? And what is more, we want to interest the prince in our theatricals. He must subscribe. You see, it is for charity. Perhaps he will even take a part. He is so sweet and obliging. Then it will be a wonderful success." "Of course he will take a part. Why, he can be made to play any part," Natalia Dmitrievna added with vast significance. Anna Nikolaevna had not misinformed Marya Alexandrovna. Ladies kept arriving every minute. Marya Alexandrovna hardly had time to receive them and utter the exclamations demanded on such occasions by propriety and the rules of comme il faut. I will not undertake to describe all the visitors. I will only mention that each one wore a look of extraordinary wiliness. Anticipation and a sort of wild impatience was expressed on every face. Some of the ladies had come with the express object of witnessing an extraordinary and scandalous scene, and would have been exceedingly wroth if they had had to drive home again without having seen it. On the surface they behaved with the utmost amiability, but Marya Alexandrovna resolutely prepared herself for the attack. There was a shower of questions about the prince. They sounded most natural, yet each seemed to contain an allusion or innuendo. Tea was brought in. Everyone sat down. One group took possession of the piano. On being asked to play and sing, Zina answered that she did not feel quite well. The paleness of her face confirmed her words. Sympathetic inquiries were showered upon her, and the ladies even seized the opportunity to ask questions and drop hints. They inquired about Mozgliakov, too, and addressed these inquiries to Zina. Marya Alexandrovna displayed 10 times her usual energy at that moment. She saw everything that was going on in every corner of the room, heard what was said by each one of her visitors, though there were nearly a dozen of them, and answered every question immediately, without hesitating for a word. She was trembling for Zina, and was surprised that she did not go away, as she had always done before on such occasions. She kept her eye, too, on Afanasy Matveyitch. Everybody always made fun of him in order to pique Marya Alexandrovna through her husband. On this occasion it might be possible to learn something from the simple-minded and open-hearted Afanasy Matveyitch. Marya Alexandrovna looked with anxiety at the way in which her husband was being besieged. Moreover, to every question he answered, with an expression so unhappy and unnatural that it might well have driven her to fury. "Marya Alexandrovna, Afanasy Matveyitch won't talk to us at all," cried one bold, sharp-eyed little lady who was afraid of nobody and never embarrassed by anything. "Do tell him to be more polite with ladies." "I really don't know what has come over him today," answered Marya Alexandrovna, interrupting her conversation with Anna Nikolaevna and Natalia Dmitrievna with a gay smile. "He certainly is uncommunicative. He has scarcely said a word to me. Why don't you answer Felisata Mihailovna, Athanas? What did you ask him?" But, you know, mother, you told me yourself," Afanasy Matveyitch began muttering in his surprise and confusion. At that moment he was standing by the lighted fire, with his hands thrust into his waistcoat in a picturesque attitude which he had chosen for himself. He was sipping tea. The ladies' questions so embarrassed him that he blushed like a girl. When he began justifying himself, he caught such a terrible glance from his infuriated wife that he almost lost consciousness from terror. Not knowing what to do, anxious to put himself right and regain respect, he took a gulp at his tea, but the tea was too hot. Having taken it so hastily, he burnt himself terribly, dropped the cup, spluttered and choked so violently that he had to go out of the room, to the surprise of all present. In fact, everything was clear. Marya Alexandrovna realized that her visitors knew all about it and had met together with the worst intentions. The position was dangerous. They might talk to the feeble-minded old man and turn him from his purpose even in her presence. They might even take the prince away from her, set him against her that very evening, and entice him away with them. She might expect anything. But fate had another ordeal in store for her. The door opened, and she beheld Mozgliakov, whom she had believed to be at Borodov's, and did not in the least expect that evening. She started as though something had stabbed her. Mozgliakov stopped in the doorway, and looked round at everyone a little confused. He was not able to control his emotion, which was clearly apparent in his face. "Oh, my goodness, Pavel Alexandrovitch!" cried several voices. "Oh, my goodness! Why, it is Pavel Alexandrovitch! How was it you told us you had gone to Borodov's, Marya Alexandrovna? We were told you were hiding at Borodov's, Pavel Alexandrovitch," Natalia Dmitrievna piped. "Hiding?" repeated Mozgliakov with a rather wry smile. "It is a strange expression. Excuse me, Natalia Dmitrievna, I don't conceal myself from anyone, and I don't want to conceal anybody else either," he added, looking significantly at Marya Alexandrovna. Marya Alexandrovna was in a tremor. "Can the blockhead be mutinous?" she wondered, looking searchingly at Mozgliakov. "No, that will be worse than anything." "Is it true, Pavel Alexandrovitch, that they have given you the sack? At your office, I mean, of course?" the impudent Felisata Mihailovna asked pertly, sarcastically looking him straight in the face. "The sack? What sack? I am simply transferring from one branch to another. I have a post in Petersburg," Mozgliakov answered coldly. "Oh, I congratulate you then," Felisata Mihailovna went on. "We were positively scared when we heard you were trying to get a post in Mordassov. The posts here can't be relied upon, Pavel Alexandrovitch. There is no keeping them." "It is only as a teacher in the district school that you might find a vacancy," observed Natalia Dmitrievna. The hint was so obvious and so crude that Anna Nikolaevna, confused, gently nudged her malicious friend with her foot. "Do you imagine that Pavel Alexandrovitch would be willing to take the place of a wretched teacher?" put in Felisata Mihailovna. But Pavel Alexandrovitch could not find an answer. He turned round and jostled against Afanasy Matveyitch, who held out his hand to him. Mozgliakov very stupidly did not take his hand, but gave him a low and ironical bow. Exceedingly irritated, he went up to Zina, and looking angrily into her face, muttered, "This is all thanks to you. Wait a bit, I'll show you this very evening whether I am a fool." "Why put it off? One can see that now," Zina answered aloud, looking her former suitor up and down with an air of aversion. Mozgliakov turned away hurriedly, frightened by her loud voice. "Have you been to see Borodov?" Marya Alexandrovna ventured to inquire at last. "No, I have been seeing Uncle." "Uncle? So you have just been with the prince, then?" "Oh, my goodness, then the prince is awake, and we were told that he was still resting," added Natalia Dmitrievna with a malignant look at Marya Alexandrovna. "Don't trouble about the prince, Natalia Dmitrievna," answered Mozgliakov. "He is awake, and now, thank God, he has all his senses about him. This morning he was given too much wine, first when he was with you, and afterwards here, till his head, never over-strong, was completely muddled. But now, thank God, we have had a little talk, and he has recovered his common sense. He will be here directly to take leave of you, Marya Alexandrovna, and thank you for all your hospitality. Tomorrow at daybreak we are setting off together to the monastery, and then I shall certainly escort him back to Duhanovo myself, to avoid a second accident like that of today. And then I shall hand him over to Stepanida Matveyevna, who by that time will certainly be back from Moscow, and will not let him go on his travels a second time. I can answer for that." As he said this, Mozgliakov looked spitefully at Marya Alexandrovna. She was sitting as though petrified with amazement. I admit with grief that my heroine was, perhaps for the first time in her life, cowed. "So he is going away at daybreak tomorrow? How's that?" said Natalia Dmitrievna, addressing Marya Alexandrovna. "How is that?" the visitors were heard saying naively. "Why, we heard that. Why, that's very odd." But their hostess did not know what answer to make. Suddenly the general attention was diverted in the most strange and eccentric way. In the adjoining room a strange noise was heard, and abrupt exclamations, and all at once, utterly unexpectedly, Sophia Petrovna Karpuchin dashed into Marya Alexandrovna's salon. Sophia Petrovna was unquestionably the most eccentric lady in Mordasov, so eccentric that it had even been decided of late not to receive her in society. It must be observed, too, that regularly every evening at 7 o'clock it was her habit to take a nip of something, for the sake of her stomach, as she explained, and after it she was as a rule in an emancipated state of mind, to put it mildly. She was in that state of mind now at that moment when she so unexpectedly burst in upon Marya Alexandrovna. "So this is the way, Marya Alexandrovna," she shouted to be heard all over the room. "So this is the way you treat me. Don't disturb yourself. I have only come for a minute. I won't sit down. I've come on purpose to find out whether it is true what I am told. So, you have balls, banquets, a betrothal party, but Sophia Petrovna must sit at home and knit a stocking. You've asked the whole town, but not me. Though this morning I was your friend and mon ange when I came to tell you what they were doing with the prince at Natalia Dmitrievna's. And now here's Natalia Dmitrievna, whom you were abusing like a pickpocket, and who was abusing you, paying you a visit. Don't disturb yourself, Natalia Dmitrievna. I don't want your chocolate à la santé at 2 pence a stick. I have better to drink at home. Foo!" "One can see you have," observed Natalia Dmitrievna. "But upon my word, Sophia Petrovna," cried Marya Alexandrovna, flushing with vexation, "what is the matter with you? Do control yourself at least." "Don't trouble about me, Marya Alexandrovna. I know all about it, cried Sophia Petrovna in her harsh, shrill voice. She was surrounded by the other visitors, who seemed to be enjoying this unexpected scene. "I have found out all about it. Your Nastasya ran round and told me the whole story. You pounced on this wretched prince, made him drunk, made him propose to your daughter, whom nobody wants to marry now, and you imagine that you've become a fine bird now yourself, a duchess in lace. Foo! Don't disturb yourself. I am a colonel's wife myself. I don't care if you don't invite me to your betrothal party. I have mixed with better people than you. I have dined with Countess Zalovatsky. The head commissary Kurochkin paid me his addresses, as though I wanted your invitation. Foo!" "Come, Sophia Petrovna," answered Marya Alexandrovna, losing patience. "I must tell you, this is not the way to burst into a lady's house, especially in such a condition, and if you do not relieve me of your presence and your eloquent remarks, I shall promptly take steps to get rid of you." "I know you will tell your nasty servants to turn me out. Don't excite yourself. I can find the way for myself. Goodbye. Make any marriage you like. And you, Natalia Dmitrievna, don't laugh at me, if you please. I don't care a damn about your chocolate. Though I am not invited here, I don't go dancing jigs to amuse princes. What are you laughing at, Anna Nikolaevna? Sushilov has broken his leg. They've just carried him home. And you, Felisata Mihailovna, if you don't tell your bare-legged Matryoshka to drive your cow home in good time so she's not mooing under my window every day, I will break her legs. Goodbye, Marya Alexandrovna. Good luck to you. Foo! Sophia Petrovna vanished. The visitors laughed. Marya Alexandrovna was thrown into extreme embarrassment. I think the lady has had a little too much, Natalia Dmitrievna brought out in her sugary voice. But what insolence! Quelle abominable femme! How funny she was, though! Ah, what shocking things she said! But what was it she said about a betrothal party? What betrothal party? Felisata Mihailovna asked sarcastically. But this is awful, Marya Alexandrovna burst out at last. It is these monsters who scatter these absurd rumours by handfuls. It is not so strange, Felisata Mihailovna, that such ladies are to be found in our midst. No. What is more surprising is that these ladies are sought after, are listened to, are encouraged, are believed, are... The prince! The prince! All voices cried suddenly at once. Oh, my goodness, le cher prince! Oh, thank goodness! Now we shall find out all the details, Felisata Mihailovna whispered to her neighbour.